Greetings, 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 beautiful beings and all that will be drawn to this video. I wish you bliss, clarity, awareness, most importantly, breathe with me, breathe. So, I always have like these moments where I get clarity and then I tell myself that it's not just for me and I deliver my messages because what we're given is to give anyway. And that reminds me that Mama Oracle or Mama Universe, when we look at the mother, the matriarchal, she is a giver of all things. So when I use the term universe, I want everyone to realize that naturally we are givers. Energetically we receive and then we we receive and then we also give. So it's like absorbing, but also it's like a cycle, or how could I say it? Push pull type of thing, negative, positive, just like a battery. So what I'm going to express is like the process of what most of us are experiencing. And this is mainly going to be very important for when I speak about the matriarchal being mother, prince, mother being the empress or queen. I like to say empress. She representing the magic of all things, keeping all things together. She is like the magic, the waters that nourishes, cleanses, purifies all things. Then you have, the great grandmother, all things dealing with the matriarchal, the princess, which is the daughter. So this daughter aspect or the princess that's being restored happens not only within the mother, but it happens energetically within us all. So let's see here. Wise man once said is that to nurture a woman is to nurture a nation. Let me say that again. To nurture a woman is to nurture a nation. So I give people the actuality and the reality of like, when you are in a place, and I feel when the so-called Americas being at only being established, or what some may know us that are aware that the Americas, or this land is having its Pluto return, and that had to do with the establishment of what America came to be. And so through that whole process of all of that, we are experiencing also a rebirth and a shift energetically within ourselves and externally in our reality. So this process of a rebirth is that which of everything that came to be in this moment and now is surfacing all the things that, that can no longer be neglected. Now that we are in Leo season, what's in the heart comes out of the mouth. But prior to Leo season, there was the Cancer season, which is dealing with all things, the mother, the divine mother, the great mother. Cancer represents family, foundation, family foundation, nurturing, all things emotional. So we are experiencing, especially what I've noticed within myself and I see in the communities that I grew up in, people that are of darker shade, ancient melanated people. There is this stigma or this idea that there is just always anger, there's always frustration, there's always pain. And so now that we are faced with those emotions, emote, action, motion, we now are learning to honor that. I spoke with a sister, and I was telling her that you know we sometimes we're being called to the ocean because the ocean represents the waters represent our emotions. And so we're being called to places like this because not only that land is connected to who we are, but also those are the lands that our ancestors maybe have endured certain painful experiences or some type of connection there ancestrally. So going back to nurturing a woman and nurturing a nation, we have to reflect and realize that this nation never, or this so-called great nation never really nurtured women. The first, you have to see how the corruption has influenced our experiences. And mama being the first teacher, if mama is corrupted and her spirit isn't at peace and she doesn't feel free, then it continues through the son. When the son then continues that through becoming the father, then the father continues that through the daughter, which represents the princess. So that princess, the character, the daughter, the value is being restored within self. How can a mother be and honor herself if she doesn't honor the princess within herself? She has to honor her emotions, through the whole aspect of not knowing what that is. The hospital being the first place that exploited women, the corruption, teaching them all things of being focused more on pain and being focused more on external things rather than the value of self, the value within, to honor everything within, to see the beauty within herself. And so that, again, when there is no nurturing and honoring, teaching women how to honor themselves, when the father is removed, and then there is no protection as what the man represents, the protector, and the spirit of the tribe, the family. So this is why you see so much of the young princesses and the little girls misguided because they don't know who they are. And this is not the point fingers. This is about how spirit forces you upon your journey to accept accountability for who you are and your role. And nothing's going to change within these communities, especially people of ancient melanin descent, which we are the origins of this earth, because everything comes from darkness. Everything comes from, the triple blackness, or, when you look at a light spectrum, for you to see anything physically, there must be darkness. We are the father carrying the seed. There is no division or separation between woman and man. There are things that the woman sees that the man may not. I was expressing to someone that upon my modeling career, I had the honor to walk with Miss India International, but the sister that was teaching me or showed me as I was walking, it was how we were walking is representing like someone getting married, in India. And how I would walk were to be, to the right seeing what was in front of me, but also I can see what was to the left of me, and also to the right. But even when I looked to this side, the wife was still there at a place where she wasn't too far off at a distance from me, but she can see what was behind my back and to the right of me. And I can see what will come, from different directions. So that symbolized to me, even in when you see ancient statues of Kemet or the Egyptians, and you will see how the wife, or the spiritual wife, or she will have her hands wrapped around the husband, like rib area or his waist, and he will be going forward. His focus, his vision would be forward. Not focus on her, but it was entailed that she would represent, like, to keep him, remind him of, in this chaotic world, to be secure. And so I noticed how far we have gotten, being that the healing now, the matriarchal, the great mother has taken her throne. We have to realize how far away our mothers, and being how far away they've gotten away from themselves, the inner goddess, the inner truth, the inner essence of themselves, how far away they have gotten away from themselves. And when they run away from themselves, remember, mama, son, father, daughter, then they're running away from not only themselves, their darkness, but you're running away from the sun, which again, sun representing the power. The sun illuminates. And then the father, which represents the spirit aspect of also us. And then the daughter, the value, the character. So these are the royal energies. Again, when mama doesn't accept and honor her emotions and honor her truth and honor her magic and honor that which she sets the foundation for the nations and the empires to come, then how, if now you see the confusion and misconception of how, when a man has this vision, a righteous man, has a vision to bring forth something more powerful than, just this material, what we see in the physical. So this is why now you're going, like, the whole casual sex thing and a lot of stuff we're also learning is that we're being mama stepping in. We're seeing that we're returning to the essence of who we are. That's why most of us now are on our journey where we're learning more about ourselves. Knowledge of self, know thyself is the greatest knowledge of all. So when we are returning to the essence of who we are, we then restore the Father, restoring the balance within the cosmos, the universe, restoring the balance within the ethers, however you see forth. And for us to restore what's the love within, we must see the value of the princess, which is the daughter. And this is what I had to accept upon my journey, even what I experienced with all feminine aspects of myself, which is all women. And being that we have feminine principles and masculine principles, why I had to attract women that were more masculine, and also being that a lot of how I got to where I am, being still, being whole, and honoring my emotions as a man, I had to see the importance of the wounded mother that I came through, and not just the mother that I came through, but I had to see the other women that, again, that didn't show her, or she didn't have conscious relationships or relationships aware of honoring their emotions. You know, we have to see in the societal and the programming and conditioning how these mothers became the actions they portrayed in the world. So whose fault is it really? It's not anyone's fault. Some of us now know the importance of our purpose here, our mission here. It's not to please and look for those things outside of ourselves, but once we find and honor that, you know, within ourselves, that darkness and light, we then realize that we're able to see and hold a place of compassion, not only for ourselves, but for others that may not ever get to this point. But also they mirror the importance of why it is who we are and what we're doing moving forward. So I realize that now, honoring my emotions, then I begin to see why having a mother that showed me at that moment growing up what it was to all those things that were not of, that were unhealthy, that wasn't of truth. Because I realized she wasn't living in her truth. She wasn't really living in a holistic way where she honored her emotions. And neither of the men that she were with honored her and see the value in themselves. And that also was rooted in how their mother treated them. And so we have to see how we're all connected in this. And so being that, and this even how it comes full circle with our kids, our starseeds, is that they come to illuminate everything that we can no longer hide. Those that do have kids, but in essence, you still are a father and mother to someone, whatever decision that you are making, you know, when you're out in this world. So what a lot of us are going to become aware of is that you're going to see the purpose, what some may call karmic family, you know, structures. The thing is that karma isn't something that is going to, you experience karma to experience dharma. You know, your healing is just as important as the healing for your kids and the generations to come. Your healing is also for not only yourself, but your lineage. And that's one thing I'm realizing, is that as I honor my healing, I realize I see the healing that's taking place. When I'm forced to look at myself, I see that others are now. That's what karma is. Other people are forced to look at themselves. And see, that's the thing about the mirror, is that I realize that a lot of which the mothers are experiencing, especially, is that karma no one is exempt from it. And so being that this is a nation that wasn't built upon nurturing, but it all came to this very place now for the healing to take place. Now you see where I'm getting at? That's why great things are coming to the communities, where you're going to see where the survival and the pain is now going to be the gain and prosperity. And in a lot, which in myself, I had to learn to, like, you know, being that, you know, that saying like, oh, you have a big heart, you know, you always giving, you're giving. But most of us didn't know what it was to receive. See, we were always giving, but now are you at a place where you can receive? And see, these are the things about the polarity. It's like what you give out, you also, it returns to you. So I'm realizing all that love that I was giving was never in vain. My journey was never in vain. The love that I was sharing was never in vain. Because I had to get to this place, the knowledge that I had, and then I had to apply it, you know, the wisdom. Then I also had to understand my own journey to come to an overstanding with others. And see, that's the peace that I have within. So Now I'm able to dissect and realize like, oh, this is why this happened. Now I have to accept that. Acceptance is what's most important. Some people may not ever do that, and you're going to see that with a lot coming in these moments, is that we have to be aware that this nation never cared to nurture and teach people to love themselves, to see themselves as being whole, to push the narrative of coming out of, being so dependent on others rather than pouring into your own cup. We're healing lineages and generations of survival. We're healing generations of tears that have been flowing and continuously passed on, through generations. We're now wiping away tears now. We're now, as a people, honoring those tears that were neglected by speaking our truth and honoring who we are as women and men. And so to ignore, I would never tell people to ignore the pain, to ignore emotions, to ignore anger, to ignore any of those things, because that's who you are. When you see me display and use the gift, and I speak about this, is that my journey is my journey. My individual journey is mine for a reason. So had I not experienced, that I recently spoke to my dad about this, and I knew that was the healing that I did within myself, acknowledgement, acceptance. And I had to express to him that, do you know what it was for a young boy to be seeking out a father? And this is happening a lot with a lot of people, young men, and I'm here to tell you, young women and men. I had my dad, he chose to leave when I was young, when I was a baby, actually. And I know we probably hear this a lot, like, oh, this is nothing new in so-called Black community or melanated community. It's not just that. Let me tell you, I've accepted the fact that it was purposeful. And I'm grateful and I'm honored and I'm not ashamed of that. Because had he not made that decision, then how would I have learned how to, not even experience what the pain of maybe what my mama never expressed, and then even the abuse that she had with the men that she was with. And sometimes that people don't even learn and know what it is to express that pain, to express how they felt, to express to people that, this hurt me, this made me feel this way. And some people never get that chance. Just imagine the people that, went to, transition or left this world never fulfilling their dreams or never expressing the love through action, or just living their living out their fullness of who they really are. So by him departing, and we had that discussion, me being 32, I told him, I was like, it took me almost 30 years to accept, that little prince inside of me, to accept, like, you departed. So what does that leave, me? And so a lot of young men are seeking that. And that's what we have to realize, like, a lot of us are affected by certain things that we didn't ever think that will surface in these moments. And the world hasn't shown us that. The world doesn't teach you that. The world teaches, and this is why you see the mental illness and just the chaos that's amongst humanity, is that there's no one, we're the leaders now, there's no one teaching us accountability. to honor who we are, to honor who we feel, because when we express ourselves freely, it's shunned upon, or it's you know, you're in a place where, you know, people are being taught that to kick people while they're down, to laugh at pain, to laugh at people's pain and struggle. And now the tables have turned. The tables have already turned, because now you have those such as myself that have accepted those things. And so when you go through that caterpillar stage and no one knows what it is for you to just, when you're sitting there with your own tears and, you know, the suicidal thoughts, you know, the loneliness, just so many things that you feel no one gets you. Being in the world, you feel like no one can comprehend the pain. It's like diving into the ocean and never truly finding the bottom. And so a lot of us now have swam to the surface from the darkest depths. And we're complete. We know that we're whole, and we know that we're untouchable. We know that, you know, the focus is always yourself, and then others are just mirrors of that. So I had to express to, you know, the Father that helped my mother bring me here, my success and my journey is different. You know, by you departing was purposeful. That did something to my mother. Did she ever express it? No. But somehow, some way, you know, when you are a child and you have a guardian or parents, your connection to them is, especially growing up in communities where your survival and is dependent on, you know, your mother or father bringing in, you know, just working, and you experience like feelings of neglect and so many things, so many emotions, so many things that a lot of us now, 30, 40, 50, is hitting us. And a lot of people are now like, what, like, they feel like you've been fooled, you've been bamboozled. And so I just had to express to him and be honest with myself. See, we're taught to show everyone else who we are, you know, who we are, who we want to be. But are we really being honest with ourselves? Are we really being truthful with ourselves, no matter how the world is going to view us? Because in some way, shape, or form, even when speaking to my dad and having that very heart-expanding conversation, you're never going to be the same. You're always changing. Your emotions come and go. It's just like the ocean. The surface, you can see the calmness on the surface, but no one really knows the chaos and the power of that water in those currents. So we have to accept within ourselves when we get to that place, and then we can have these, you know, these honest conversations with others about what, you know, and when we, you know, who we are, and reintroducing ourselves, because as you begin to accept who you are, that journey never stops. You're going to begin to learn more about who you are and so many other things. And you're reintroducing yourself to the world when you go into solitude and you start to learn about so much of yourself and how much you know, neglected who you are and the betrayals and so many things that you've experienced. And then you start to realize, like, wow, it was you were looking for all along. So just imagine the mothers and the fathers and people now realizing that all the things that they were running from, all the frustration and all these things they were putting into their careers and trying to chase this and money and all these things, and it doesn't even matter if you don't even love and honor yourself. Because then, are you really being honest with yourself? And then how can you not expect your kids to eventually see what you're doing and you think that they don't know internally that you're not being honest with yourself when you're frustrated, when you're not at peace? And then you see the world looking to, you know, praising celebrities or any other people that, again, you don't know what goes on behind their doors. You don't know what people are doing. So I'm empowering you to yes, love yourself. And even if you don't know what that looks like, there are others that, such as myself, that are here to inspire people to be honest. Whether it's through this, you see me on video, you'll be able to, as you learn more about the depths of yourself, you'll be able to feel. I had to learn what it was to feel the waters, the emotions. I had to learn what it is to feel the anger, the frustration of the very ones that I felt that should have loved me, that should have seen what I was doing. And most importantly, those that you that have guardians or parents, you know it really trickles down to them. You want them to really see you. You want your mother to really see you for who you are. You want your father to really see you for who you are. But let me tell you, they will never see you for who you truly are until you see yourself, until you honor the mother and the father within yourself, the mother and father that represent the feminine and masculine traits within us all. Because they are only teaching you what it is to see yourself as this beacon of light. And it comes with people not accepting it. That's a part of the journey. But your acceptance begins with you. And see, that's the beauty of when you see the flowers, when you see everything in creation, when you see the rose that grew from the concrete. So it's showing us how even everyone, I learned this, is that everyone played a major role in my life. Everyone's is a part of this. They're a puzzle piece. And that's the piece in all of it. Even the people that played a role of like Judas, you know, the story of, you know, Jesus, you know, even people that played a role of like the villain, they also played a part in you seeing who you are. And see, that's the lesson. And what karma teaches us is that the lesson repeats until you really see that, until you accept you and acknowledge your role. Because it's easy for us to point, and then those three right there, little buddy, are pointing right back at you. So again, love is something that is an action. So even me not speaking, look at how we have to take accountability or learn to what it is to accept it. And a lot of us, we are playing that role right now. We are that beacon of light for a lot of people. You are that beacon of light. Just by simply being, by simply breathing, by simply honoring your truth and walking in who you are. If you look at the stories of a lot of great gurus or just people that walked this earth that had a major impact, they didn't conform to this world. It wasn't trying to fit in. It's like trying to fit a size 12 shoe in a size 9 shoebox. It's not going to happen. But I'm here to tell you is that we have to see how the importance of this matriarchal. When we were in a patriarchal system, the discipline and how a lot of these things all the systems became corrupted. Now, for us that honor our light and darkness within ourselves, we illuminate that. We illuminate the things that the society and humanity can no longer hide. So don't be surprised if you walk in places or you're around and you walking in your truth irritates people, demons, or, only for them to one day see that they have to rise above their own demons and see their own light. You have to learn to be everything for you first. And I had to learn this through my own journey. That's what the princess, the daughter, represents in the royal energy. Security. Look at how the tables is turning. If there's an old empire falling, this empire now, the matriarchal, where everything began from mama, is teaching us that security is within ourselves. That's the wisdom of it all, is that the daughter represents the security, the princess, restoring balance within ourselves. We come here to if you look at the whole world right now, peace, happiness, and joy is an inside thing. That's security. That's me being secure that no matter what happens outside of me, I'm secure. So that's like a tree, the roots. And see, that's what we learn about in our family, in our lineages. And this is what, if the narrative continues, the false narrative of, this continuous of us not knowing who we are and where we come from and the truth about, why it is we're here, learning about the roots, the seed of which the family tree started, or, seeing the fruit of why isn't this prospering? Why isn't this happening the way I want this to? Because it's you. It's you that is the fruit that's prosperous, that shall bring prosperity to your family lineage. It is you. It is you, the fruit, that you are the one that bears good fruit. You are the one that isn't the rotten wickedness that has been ongoing and will no longer. You are the one that changes that. And so that's what we're seeing. Is that this whole old outdated narrative and old versions of ourselves no longer exist. So as you begin to learn and dive into yourself, no one is ever the same way you left them. You begin to shed in layers of your old self. So when you reintroduce yourself, it's like you introduce yourself to your class. On the first day of school or whatever. This is just no different than life. You're going to reintroduce yourself as you begin to elevate, as the stages of life and the phases of life, the experiences are going to teach you that you are reinventing, you are evolving, you are shifting, you are changing, your emotions are changing. My mindset, my body, my being is not going to be the same being at 42 or 43, 53, and so forth. That's the beauty of it all, but no one or nothing can take away the essence of who I am. And the essence of who I am and the essence of who you are is love. When you start to honor that, no one can strip you of that imagination, that superpower that you have. Because had certain relationships and connections had not happened, how would you have known to be connected and reconnect with yourself? So know that we are building something upon truth, upon love, upon honesty. So that's not going to look familiar to anyone that's not living and vibrating at that place within themselves. So you're able to acknowledge that when you're in the presence of others, but most importantly, you're in the presence of yourself. You are the gift. Many will say you are the curse, but the present moment, you in your own, can you be at peace in your own presence? Are you at peace with yourself? Do you love yourself? What is that quote? What is that saying? Is that, or can you be at, would you rather be at war with the world or at peace with your, what is it? At war with your, would you rather be at war with yourself, but at peace with yourself and at war with the world? It's something like that. What is it? But it's basically saying, like, even in this world of ever changing and so many things happening, can you be at peace? Can you find peace? And so these are the partnerships and connections that we are attracting. Those that have done the inner work, the what some may call the shadow work, which is acknowledging our darkness, acknowledging our part and our role in this lifetime. And so then we create, family lineages and connections where going forth, where there is no more survival, there is no more pain, there is no more suffering. Paradise is within. And so that's what we will experience. Those that know, these are celebratory moments. So can you find that within yourself in these moments? Can you find that peace? Will you challenge yourself to seek that peace and love, that everlasting love, that, that infinite love and peace within yourself in these moments? Because no one is going to give you that. You have to know what it is to pour into yourself, and that will trickle down to your kids, and they will also blossom into things that are far more greater, the generations that come after. And then they will be protected spiritually. And you will know that. When you're secure within, you know that you are divinely guided and protected no matter what and who may come, because it will be illuminated. You will see it before it comes, and you will be aware, you will be warned. And that's why in these moments that, and I'll say this before I go, is that that's why you're going to see so much happen in the world, because, and this is why I tell a lot of women, like, you wasn't put here not to, it's not so much need a man, but he is your reflection. But, you mirror each other. You're not separate. So these coming moments are going to be very painful for a lot of people, because things are going to happen in this world that where both man and woman are needed. Just saying. Peace and blessings. Shalom. Take care of yourself. Take care of you for you.